Cool. Okay. Hi, my name is Matthew Conway, and I'm a grade 10 contemporary art student. And recently, I've been really frustrated with the way a lot of people view and think about the world. I've come to a conclusion that we've created this linear way of thinking that we can no longer escape. So many people are so focused on a need for labeling and abiding to all the constructs of the world rather than question why we continuously do the things we do. The world we made was not meant to be lived in. Almost everything is so this or that, options A or B. When it comes to things like colleges, jobs, or any sort of labelable thing, they'll have options like 1, 2, 3, or 4, when most people would fall in between the infinities between these numbers if they fall in between them at all. So ultimately, these constructs benefit nobody and do more harm than good. The systems of the world are dysfunctional, but it also derives from our thinking. Our thoughts that one thing has to be a certain way directly integrates itself into our society and continues to reinforce the idea that we have to live this way. What sparked a lot of interest in this topic for me was asking myself why so many people hate the world we've built. Why do people hate having to wake up early in the morning and go to a job they don't like? I started asking myself this all the time, everywhere I go, questions like, why is this like that, and why do we do anything? That's what brought me to the reasoning that some people view the world in an incredibly linear way, in a way that's led so many of us to believe that you have to fit into a box that humanity made up. A personal example of this is that in about a few years, I'll have an opportunity to go to university. I've been looking into all the diverse options schools have, when in reality the programs were built for a specific person that doesn't align with myself. It's easy to get caught up and try to fix the little problems like colleges, but it's about everything that functions this way. This brought me to ask, how should I live now? My first thought was to enjoy myself as much as possible while doing the least amount of bad things I can, which of course brings you to what is good and what is bad. The concept of good and bad exists in a finite way. To define each situation and event as a certain amount of good and a certain amount of bad, while most of everything exists in the gray areas beyond the reasoning of a label. We're so much more complex than that, but we choose to confine ourselves to a strict binary way of thinking. The world is so flawed and tangled at the moment that labeling only contributes to the complexity of it all. I'm continuing to think about this in my day-to-day life, trying to find a way to live without it. To exempt myself from the constructs of our reality is nearly impossible for me right now, because everything is continuously built on top of it. The work you see here is my attempt to literalize this idea. I took layers of netting and stretched them across the surface to photograph. Many people view the world as a flat grid you must be pinpointed on, when this is rarely the case. More likely, it's a multidimensional, tangled mess that you may or may not reside on. In conclusion, the world is constructed too poorly to not question why you do the things you do. Ask yourself why the world around you is the way it is. Thank you.